Hi, my name is Shez. You're watching Project Food Garden. Today is a Saturday. It's 4th of December, 2021. So, less than 4 weeks ago, we transplanted our plants out in the tomato patch. We started that off less than 4 weeks ago. And I thought that it would be a good day today to give you an update and share lots of information with you as well. This has been a really cracking summer so far. Uh, Today probably was one of the hottest days that we've experienced in Canterbury. So what are we going to share with you today? The initial life cycle is pretty much coming to the end. The plants that we had put into the patch, which were like 3 to 5 inches at the time, they've grown a great deal, to be honest. Somebody was joking on the other day on Facebook that if you observe your plants in this weather, they grow by the hour. That was a bit far-fetched, but still, they do grow on a daily basis. So let's get into the episode, show you how the patch is doing, what we have done so far, and what you guys need to do in order to have a bumper year, hopefully. Let's get on with it. So the first thing you would notice in this year that the spacing that we have done for all the rows, it's quite considerable. It gives a chance for the plants to groom and they don't get tangled up, number one. And ample room means that they would have enough space to, have an excellent opportunity to grow that you want them to grow. Let's move on. You can see that when the plants they grow, they would need support. So I normally use hosiery to provide the support to the plants. As you can see, there you go. All the plants that I have in the patch, what I'm doing with them is providing them support. As you can see, we have quite a few bit of blossoming going on few of them. The growth is not that bad, and you can see that you support these plants, their trunks, and the initial life cycle, they do need a lot of support. So that is the second thing that most important when working with your tomato patches. As you can see, we do have to provide them ample support. Let's move on. So some people, they work with their plants with just one trunk. It totally depends on how you want to, what kind of yield you want from the plant, right? So what I normally do is, I'll show you in a sec. This plant, this is San Marzano. So this is coming to the point because these are wines, Italian Roma and San Marzano. So when they would get to this point, I would start tying them up with this net that I have on top. And if the plant would grow with multiple trunks, it would yield more fruit. Same thing goes, like in this row, I've got Yellow Dwarf and I've got Moneymaker. And you can see they're blossoming as well. And these plants have grown a great deal, if you can see. So what I'm going to be doing with these, I'm going to be raising them with multiple trunks. I've experienced this last year that when you use multiple trunks, the plants, they do give you an amazing yield. Yes, you have to give them a lot of support, and my formula is to work with the hosiery like I normally do. So let's move on. So the next thing that you need to do with your plants, see, I was talking about aeration. How do you make sure that the aeration between the plants is up to the mark? What you do is you start pruning them. As you can see, I have pruned the bottom of every plant which has grown. Like see this Black Prince plant, it's grown quite tall. So in process, what I've done is I've taken all the plants, all the shoots that were at the bottom of the plant, I've gotten rid of them. You'd see that this is yellow beefsteak. That is bearing super bloom, as you can see. It has got multiple trunks on top, but in the bottom, I have gotten rid of all the branches which you call laterals from the bottom, and you can see till the end that I've gotten rid of all the branches in the bottom. Same thing pretty much over here. So that makes, see how nice and clean it is? It makes the aeration really nice, and plants, they do tend to excel when you make them look like shaved chicken from the bottom. Let's move on. So a few friends of mine who have come to my house, they have inquired about this wood shaving that I have in between the rows. So what is the reason for putting this wood shaving? So, and you would see a lot of stakes as well, which look quite unnecessary right now. So in our garden, we had to make sure that the patch is cat safe. We have a cat that tends to dig everywhere. So as you can see, I've put stakes everywhere. So these wood shavings that I've put into the patch, I later on found out that it has got multiple benefits. It does, you can see, I mean, there's not a lot of weed in there, comparing that I've not cleaned it for 4 weeks. All I've done is pruning, and I'm quite happy with the fact that these wood shavings have prevented the weed to crop up. A little bit of this is there, I know, and the second biggest advantage is that it holds the moisture when I water the plant. So it has given me multiple benefits, and I'm thinking of procuring more wood shaving because it has more advantages than you know, I don't see any downside of putting the wood shaves. Or if you've got mulch, you can use mulch as well. So let's move on to the next one. So before I was, funny enough, when I was about to start shooting for this video, I had somebody from Christchurch. They asked me about what to feed to the plants. So as in the last month, I mean less than 4 weeks ago when we did the transplant, I did show everybody that when I do the transplantation into the patch, in the bottom where I would put the plant, I would put compost and coffee grounds. That is the natural source for the plants to get the initial kick that they need for their initial growth, and it tends to put in a lot of water with compost and coffee grounds, and you know, it helps the plants to have the initial help with the growth. Apart from that, for root development, you can always use seaweed juice, and you can also use pot ash, but that is not the right time for pot ash because the plants have not started blossoming that the way I want to. I mean, I know I've shown you some super blooms, and some other plants are blossoming as well, but when the plants would start fruiting, then you can, you know, go ahead and administer the additional supplements like Epsom salts and like pot ash and tomato fertilizer. But as of now, I don't see any need of it. I've not given it not a lot of weed juice. I've just given it in the second week because that helps in root development of the plant. It gets a really firm and solid rooting system. So the next thing that you guys need to take care of is before you get your plants out and put them in a patch like this. I mean, it was a sunny day. The cloud cover has just taken over the sky as of yet, but this patch gets a lot of sun. Now, before you get your plants out, it's always a good idea to do the hardening of your plants. I have lost quite a few plants where I thought that I have done the hardening, but it was not good enough for the plants, so I've lost a few in the process. I'll show you my second patch as well in the meantime. These are the Russian black crimps that I've done, and trust me, I did the hardening for these for a good 4 weeks out under the shed, and they are blossoming, and they are growing really well. Really happy with it. So the positioning of the patch, this patch gets because Russian black crimp, they love the sun, so this patch, it gets sun from early in the morning till I mean, it starts getting the sun from 8 a.m. till 4 or 4:30 p.m. So the next thing that somebody asked me on social media on a gardening group was how to manage infestations. I like to keep my tomatoes and the patch basically as organic as possible. There are things which are beyond human control, And when that happens, you've got no choice but to administer the medicine. So the medicine that I had a minor aphids infestation, and the way I managed it was I used soapy water, which is the fairy liquid, white or brown vinegar, added into 1 liter of water. I did 2 teaspoons of vinegar, 2 teaspoons of fairy liquid, and I mixed it with 1 liter, put it in the spray, and I've sprayed it all over the patch. And I only had to do it twice. Once I was done with it, it was a happy affair for the plants. Also, one last thing, when you would put the plants into the patch, I mean, the general caring of the entire patch is pretty much the same. I mean, I've done everything the same way for each plant. Yet you would see some plants would struggle initially. This plant had suffered leaf curl. After the soapy water spray that I had administered, it has turned color. But this one is still struggling. This one is coming out of it. And let me quickly show you another funny phenomena. This is my golden pear drop plant. It nearly died. I had to, administer the soapy water on it like 4 times. And then it came back to life. But have a look at the black cherry. It's been 4 weeks. And it has not grown a great deal. And same as this one. I mean, all of these plants that you're looking at, these are Sweet 100. I tried saving them as well. These were pretty much gone. I only had 1 trunk left with a couple of leaves on each. And then I gave them seaweed juice. And now they have started coming back to life. Look at the color of the leaf. So I normally don't give up on my plants. I treat them as my baby. So they have really come back to life. They're doing really well. And I'm hoping they would get good yield. So coming back to the point, some plants would struggle to grow, but keep working with them. If you keep working with them, they would come back to life. This sun gold plant that you're looking at, it was this size about 2 weeks ago. But look at that. I will not give up until it would give up. I mean, I still see good signs on this black cherry plant and on this one as well. They're trying to fight, and they hopefully would come back to the normal state of affairs. So this is pretty much what we needed to show you. This is the progress of 4 weeks alone. If you look at these plants, you'd see beautiful super bloom. Let me try and focus on that. Look at that. I love heirloom variety. They've got such an amazing super blooms, and the bigger the blossom, like I said last year, the bigger the blossom, the bigger the fruit. And I have an intent of raising this aisle and the Black Prince aisle with multiple trunks, because I do want to get a better yield. Indeed, but the intent this year is to keep the quantity, not the quantity rather, the variety, so I can save more seed. That's my patch number 2, which I've shown you, the Russian Black Rim patch that is dedicated to Russian Black Rim. And the rest of the 20 varieties are in here. So I hope you've liked the tips and tricks that we have shared with you today. Things are going really well this year. And the sun, as I'm about to conclude this, this part of the clip, is coming out. So let's get on with the rest of the video. So I realized that today's episode was quite a bit long as compared with the normal ones. But we have tried keeping it as short and sweet and as informative as possible. So once this episode is done, the next episode that we're going to be doing would be all about the blossoms that we have shown you today and how they're converting into fruit. You would realize that majority of the tomatoes that we are doing are heirloom varieties, and a lot of them would bear super blooms. I mean, plants like Moneymaker and Italian Roma and San Marzano, they have normal flowering, but plants like Russian Black Rim, Brandywine, we have Yellow Beefsteak, we have Brandywine Pink, and there are other few varieties, Black Prince, Mortgage Lifter. Those are like massive tomatoes. So we do get a super bloom on those fronts. So we will come back to you with an update on all of those as well. And I hope you guys are taking care of your tomato patches and your garden. And it's going to be an exciting year this year as well. So let us know your feedback about this episode. Everybody, thank you so much for all the viewers who have reached out to me on the last year's Black Rim episode. Really appreciate your feedback and your thoughts and your comments. I heard that in Florida, tomatoes can be grown around the year. You guys are so lucky who are living in Florida, because here we have a very short span of spring where we can actually enjoy this crop. And on that note, thank you so much from South Africa, and thank you so much from Czech Republic and Pakistan. And we really appreciate the support. If you haven't done so as yet, if you like the content that we are sharing, do subscribe to the channel. And on that note, we'll bid you a happy morning, afternoon, evening, and night, wherever you are. Goodbye.